Hi, Yona. I'm Keaton. I'm a good friend of Alon's. I'm going to give your business, Sweat and Soda, a free online audit through my company that you can see here, Taylor and Wolfe. Now, I'm just going to take a few minutes, give you a really quick background on me. Um, I've been a designer, a digital marketer, and a website builder since I graduated college in 2001. I took a brief hiatus off and opened a restaurant bar in Bloor West called The Steady. Alon got assigned to me as my mentor. So I've known him for maybe going on 6 years now, and he helped me through that process. And I just sold that business in November. I'm very happy about that. It was crazy. I learned a ton, and it really gave me a new passion for what I'm doing now, which marries my history as a designer and digital marketer and website builder with now growing local businesses through online search, Google ranking, SEO, helping these local businesses make massively more money because they're ranking higher online and pulling in way more leads and traffic. And then I'm able to take a cut of that overage that they're making. So whether that's through a recurring monthly payment that's flat or whether it's through a percentage deal or whatever, I can set up deals a bunch of different ways. So part of that process, what I do for people who find me organically or through word of mouth, is I give them a free online audit here that you can see on my site. So, Alon told me about your business with his brother, your husband, a year and a half or so ago. And I thought it was an awesome concept. I've been working out personally for many years, 7, 8 years now. It's a total lifestyle. And Toronto is terrible for healthy places to eat and work. So, whether I was owning the bar or whether I'm like, having my laptop lifestyle right now, I want to be out in society sometimes, drinking coffee and whatever. And it's just like muffins and croissants everywhere. And you don't want to eat that. Even if you're just on the run between meetings, there's just like not enough healthy options. So I'm super stoked. All the new places that are starting to creep up. And congrats on like leading the cause there because it's super needed. And I'm glad to see that you guys are doing well. So let's just get right into it. I don't know, what because we haven't actually chatted, and usually I have a little chat with my clients. But search engine optimization, that's what SEO stands for. It's really just about like optimizing your entire online presence so that it's working together, and that the ultimate goal is to boost the ability for your potential customers to find you. And when you boost that ability, when your customers can find you, whether it's through voice search, mobile friendly search, online search, through social media, all these different ways, it's just more feet in the door. And when you've got more people in the door, you're making more money. And it's just that simple. So let's pull up, this is one of the tools that I use called SEMrush. I've got your website in here. You can see Sweat and Soda, Canada. So you're ranking for 25 keywords. It's bringing you about 183 hits a month. And if you were to just pay for that traffic outright, it would cost you about $100 a month. So, you're doing a little something. There's a lot more potential that you could be doing to get these numbers a lot higher. So we'll scroll down here, and this shows you what the 25 keywords are that Google is indexing you for, and then it shows you the position that you're ranked for. And I won't get into all this stuff. It's beyond this conversation, but I can explain it later. So we see here that you're on the first page for Sweat and Soda. So if people know about your business already and they just plop you into Google search, like you're going to come up right away, and that's great. However, if they're searching for other things, like say they're just searching for like cafe in Leslieville or, best coffee Queen Street East or things like that, you're not coming up. See here, Cafe Queen Street, you're on the 9th page of Google. That's no good. There's a lot of, Propeller Coffee Toronto, you're on the 10th page of Google. There's a lot of Good Life and gym stuff, because you guys are doing this like interesting hybrid with the gym videos and stuff. But you need to be on the first page of Google for more search terms. Let's look at one of your competitors. So I went over here to Google and I put in Cafe Leslieville just to see what would come up. So the first three in the map pack, we call this the map pack because you got the map, and then Google always highlights 3 businesses, and then you can click here for more. So we're seeing Tearo, which is really Pilot Coffee Roasters, Tango Palace, Purple Penguin. And then you come down here and you can see the organic slots. So often it's taken up by BlogTO or Yelp. Goodhound is another directory. Here's Yelp. Then we go Pilot. Then we go Lazy Daisy, Hailed Coffee, Dundas Carlaw. So you're on the second page somewhere. Let's see where you're at. Sidekick, Boxcar. No, maybe you're on the third page. So I'm using Cafe because I noticed in your Google My Business page that that's how you have yourself listed. I started out searching for you as a coffee shop, but I realized you're much more than that. Okay, so you're not ranking for Cafe Leslieville, so that's a big red flag. We want you ranking for that, right? Because that's how people are going to search for you. Let's go back to page 1. Now, a quick tip back on what I was saying about the Google My Business page, and we'll look at your Google My Business page in a second. Actually, I think I have it open here. Yeah, so it just says cafe. So you can add up to 3 categories there. So I highly recommend that you list coffee shop if possible. And I would need to look at the categories again to give you like the best recommendations. But like you want to be listed as more than just the cafe. I'm going to give you a bunch of free info here, and take it, use it. If you're already working with somebody, that's great. And if you're not, I'm hoping to earn your business through doing this. So, or at least another conversation. Okay, where were we? So we're over here, Cafe Leslieville. So Pilot's coming up. So let's just look at Pilot in my tool, shall we? We'll pull them up. We'll go to their website. Here's their site. I'll copy that. I'll come over here. And let's see how they compare to your metrics. Wow, look at that. 639 keywords. They're getting over 16,000 hits a month. If they were to buy that traffic, it'd cost them almost $30,000 a month. Now, they've been at the game a lot longer, and they are roastery, so that's going to bring them, different kinds of traffic. But you can see here in the position 1, position 2, position 3, like anything that's 10 or under is the first page of Google. So they're coming up on the first page of Google for all these keywords. This is a ton of keywords. Just sort of analyzing them a little bit to see what they look like. So anything from here up, they're on the first page. Look, Coffee Toronto. That's a really big keyword. I just saw it. Here it is, Coffee Toronto. That alone, this number here, that means that 1,600 people a month inside Toronto Google for Coffee Toronto. And they're coming up on page 1. Coffee near Union Station. The vocal search is like a huge driver. It's almost up to 30% of search these days. So anyway, you're probably wondering, well, how the hell are they doing this? So one quick thing that we can compare, we look at your site. Your site is beautiful, but what most web designers don't know when they're building a site, most web designers aren't very familiar with how SEO works. SEO is an industry in and of itself. It's a lot of moving parts. It's a lot of strategy. And yeah, it's a career. It's its own career. So most web designers are focused on just building sites, and then they're going to pass anything off beyond that to someone like me. So what Google loves is authoritative content. And what that means is like as much content as possible. So when you're writing copy for your site, you need to be using tools like this one I'm showing you here to see what these keywords are that people are looking for, see which ones apply most to you, and you need to be injecting them into your copy. Now, you also need to have a lot of copy per page for Google to rank you for those keywords. So ideally, you want no less than 500 words per page. And some people just want a really minimalist site and they're like, oh, I don't want all that, I don't care about that. But we're talking about money in your pocket. We're talking about, is this a hobby or is this a business? And there are ways that, tons of successful companies, no matter what industry they're in, design sites that have a lot of copy and still look great, and you can still filter through it easily. So, that's what my goals are with the companies that I work with, is you figure out what the messaging needs to be inside the copy, and then you figure out how to break it up in a way that looks nice and that you get it all in there. Now, another way to help Google index your site and register all your keywords is in the way that you optimize your photos, the way you title your photos, the way you title your web pages, the way you title your metadata. So there's a lot going on with the strategy of content and copy in the way that the website is built and put together. Now, as we look at your pages, you've got a little bit more copy here, and that's great. But again, it's probably not keyword rich, and it's not enough. We've only got 2 photos on this page outside of the header, so also not enough. Train. Again, very, very lean copy, very lean content. We just need more content. But it needs to be informed content. We looked at this page already. Then you've got like your social media pages here. So let's look at Pilot's website. And you're going to see here, look, so many pages, so many pages, so many pages, lots of pages. Now, all these pages are not super content heavy, but they've got so many pages that they're covering their bases. I think like, let's look at like the brew guide, for example. Now, I did a quick search on something like this by like going to save the image as, so I could see how their image is titled. And I can see that their image is titled, web brew method. You know what, it's not a great title, but it's a lot of times, these web designers, the whole title just looks like a slew of numbers or a slew of letters that don't mean anything. So at least they've got a few words in there, but this could be improved on as well. Okay, let's look at another competitor of yours. So they're number 1. Now they've got 380, before we move on, they've got 386 reviews. So the amount of reviews that you have and the score that you get as a result of your reviews is also a really huge indicator in how you're going to do in the maps. And you're not doing terribly in the maps. You're down here, I think this is number 7 or 8. And now that's once you click more, right? So these guys are in the top 3. If you click more, you'll see you guys down here. But you're not in the organic, right? As I showed you before. I think we went all the way to page 4. We didn't see you for the specific search of Cafe Leslieville. So you've got 74, that's great, you're off to a great start, just keep racking them up. But sometimes a cafe with less reviews will beat you out. Look, Raspberry Cafe is up here with only 4. These guys are up here with only 56. There's a lot more involved with optimizing your Google My Business page than just the amount of reviews that you have too. It goes into like how many photos you have, again, how those photos are titled. There's a lot of little tricks you can do. Again, like I told you about your category.